Hi, my name is John Reznikoff, and welcome to NYACT conference. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but duty calls, and I hope you enjoy this video. And if you have any questions, you could get a hold of me through Kevin and Nicole. In any event, I am a question document examiner, and what I do is look at documents to determine whether there's shared authorship with known examples, but also to determine whether there's any suspicion of fraud, erasing, overwriting, alteration. This has been very effective for a lot of the insurance companies that are working to stamp out fraud. And I'm going to show you a little bit of what I do today. So this is an example of a typical report that I might use, which is pretty similar to what I would use in court, but the whole purpose for this is to avoid expensive litigation. And you can notice I have everything labeled by exhibit numbers, and all the question signatures have colored numbers next to them. This has been very effective for people to use to deny claims, and if you need to do something more detailed, then I can do that, and that will usually be a long and labored court process. So some of the things I might do for a typical examination when I'm looking at medical records is this device is called a handwriting slope. And often I could place this on the baseline of where a signature is and determine the main slopes of the signatory, and then take a look at what is supposed to be his signature and make a determination whether it is or it isn't based on sloping. Some of the other things that we look at when looking at question signatures is line acclimation. So you could see that this comes very close to the line, but doesn't quite hit it, whereas this touches the line right here. Often we can make a lot of determinations by using various tools, even when looking at photocopies. So this is a fascinating example of photomechanical reproduction. So I took these two signatures and I looked at them and they look very similar to me. But you can note that they're not the same document because here the period before the S starts over the M, and here the period before the S starts over the A. So I made a transparency of this particular document and was able to determine very quickly, because they lay on top of each other exactly, that this is indeed a photomechanical reproduction of this person's signature. And there's a lot of information to be obtained from that. Another example would be right here. So here we have the signing MD, and I was able to take these from another portion of the document and another transparency, and you'll take a look, and again, voila, an exact match. An exact match. And this one doesn't match, so we have information that this might be a real signature. But there's a lot of information to be obtained even from Xerox copies, as you can see. So here are some of the tools that I use when I'm examining documents. And it could be as simple as just this magnifier. And I'm able to look at and study the signatures and the formation of the signatures. But this device also has a microscope, and I could get really close. And there's a lot of determinations that I can make based on size, speed, pressure, even from a copy. We use some other devices too. So this device has the ability to measure. You'll take a look and you'll see, when you see these lines here, I'm actually able to measure the size. And my favorite, and this is fiber optics. This is an interesting piece of equipment in that it's military surplus, and it was developed by the government to use in Desert Storm to enhance the infrared detection in tanks. But I use it for a very different purpose. So what this allows me to do, and there's no battery in this is one solid piece of glass, is I'm able to place a question signature, place this right on top, and I'm able to study it without my hands holding a magnifier, and I could take another piece of paper and I could take two of these and compare them. And this is a very, very effective device for reading documents and for making determinations based on magnification with fiber optics. So I've shown you some of my equipment, but this is a very sophisticated piece of equipment that's called a video spectral comparator. And I like to tell people that really the closest thing to my lab, in Connecticut at least, as far as question documents, would be the FBI headquarters in New Haven. We've invested in the top technology in order to help people stop fraud and to work in court cases. And here's some of the examples of some of these things can do. So here's something that's crossed out and we don't know what it says, but if I put it in here, this is under regular light, this is able to break down ink by its characteristics. And I go to this mode, and all of a sudden you could see what it says. And it says charge $500 for brace. So that could be very effective in an examination in determining whether fraud has been committed. But another thing that this machine is able to do that the naked eye cannot do is sometimes I'll see some impressions on paper, but you can't see them with the naked eye. So I put it in the machine. I set it on side lighting, and voila, it says bill all $500. You can't imagine how much information I've gotten by using this machine in the various court cases that I've done. So, in conclusion, there is a tremendous amount of information that can be obtained from documents that could indicate fraud. And it's my job to really investigate and look at things with a microscopic eye, for lack of a better word. I wish I were here to be able to answer your questions, but I'm certain you could speak with Kevin or Nicole, and I could be available through them. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck.